Welcome back to the Pro Sports Podcasters on YouTube. My name's Quebert Durand. You know me as Kobe. And I just got to get this out there. I've seen a lot of different YouTube channels and blogs and such that have been covering NFT sports, especially NFL all day, providing you with suggestions of moments you should maybe be going after or, taking advantage of now that they've got the spend $50, get $25 back credit. And a lot of the ones they're suggesting are high risk moments. You need to understand football in general to understand which moments are going to have the most value in the short term and which moments are going to have the most value in the long term and which moments are most likely to eventually tank. And one thing I want to go over first of all is positionally, depending which position you play in the NFL, your career is very different. If you're a running back, there's a high likelihood you're going to end up with some kind of an injury and miss time. And the lifespan of a running back is generally shorter than, say, the lifespan of a wide receiver because of how the rules are now. So you got to factor that in. If you're going after running backs, make it a running back that's in a great situation right now, right? Right now. Don't be speculating on a running back that maybe a couple of years from now, when they reach the end of their current contract, may get an even better contract with a contender. If that's your game plan, you might as well just buy every moment you see and roll the dice and see what happens. And hope that more of them end up with a increased value than less of them, right? Otherwise, if you're targeting running backs, target the guys that are going to do very well this very next season. Wide receivers can be a little bit different. You can go a little longer term there. You can purchase a wide receiver rookie and hope that they develop over time. Most wide receivers, there's the occasional exception like a Jamar Chase, but the majority of wide receivers really don't hit their stride until they're in their second or third seasons. So grabbing a wide receiver rookie that you think has potential is worthwhile. Even a second-year wide receiver, say, that didn't get a chance to play with a decent quarterback in year one, but has that skill set necessary to succeed, that might be worth it too. You may have to wait until they actually switch teams at the end of their current contract or get traded, but it still could be worth it for you because you can get them cheap now and reap the rewards later. One position in general that I think you should be very wary of is quarterback. The quarterback is the most volatile position in football. Quarterbacks come and go. They fail harder than any other position and they succeed greater than most any other position. So you have this maximum variance between success and failure when it comes to a quarterback. But you have to understand that the majority of rookie quarterbacks or second-year quarterbacks in their first contracts, the majority are going to fail. You should not be stacking Davis Mills. I'd be willing to bet that in 2 seasons, Davis Mills will either be a backup or out of the NFL. There's a very good chance of that. So if you're buying Davis Mills right now, why are you buying him? What are you hoping for? Are you hoping that the Houston Texans have a great season? Because that's not going to happen. They are not going to have a great season. The Houston Texans are going to suck. So what are you getting from Davis Mills? I'm telling you, you're not going to get any challenge rewards from Davis Mills. It's not going to happen. He doesn't have the talent around him, nor does he have the talent right now to actually succeed enough to factor into challenges. Unless they specifically say, in order to maybe boost his value for a week, that you need Davis Mills for this particular challenge. Unless Dapper Labs goes out of their way to bonus you for having him, it's going to be pretty much worthless in most cases. There's a slim chance he succeeds, but I'm talking slim. Same goes for Zach Wilson. The Jets suck. Let's be honest. I'm sure they're going to pick up a number of draft picks. They may even trade for, a nice weapon. Deebo Samuel is in talks of, maybe going to the New York Jets if San Francisco decides that's the move for them. But even if he does, you could put 3 fantastic wide receivers on that team. It still sucks. And Zach Wilson didn't show us anything last year to suggest that he's going to be some kind of superstar. His accuracy was shit. So if you're grabbing a Zach Wilson, why are you grabbing him? What's the reason? What are you hoping for? Not challenges. Not a sudden increase in value. You're hoping that maybe he shows enough talent to eventually get traded to a team that can utilize him better, or is just a better team in general, or that the New York Jets get out of this, 2-decade slump and build something that's actually worthwhile. So that's what you're banking on. What's that worth to you? Or would you be better off to just go out and buy a quarterback that's already established on a team that can actually compete? Because that's the route I'd take. I'd spend less on a Josh Allen or a Dak Prescott or a Russell Wilson than I would to go and bank my investment on a Zach Wilson without knowing if he's ever going to become what we hope he may become. Trevor Lawrence is another one. I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. I've been following Trevor Lawrence since high school. Okay, since he was in high school. I've said this guy's the legit, real deal. Unfortunately, he's a Jacksonville Jaguar. And they're spending some money right now, but they're not turning it around immediately. No way are they going to turn around immediately. Right? He's still going to find himself in a very difficult situation to succeed. Do I expect him to factor into challenges this season? No. Do I expect him to eventually be a great quarterback? I do, actually. I do. But is it worth paying the price that's required to get him right now to do that? It's not worth it for me. It really isn't. I'm probably better off going with one of the other quarterbacks I named, those established quarterbacks on established teams, and reaping the rewards from them until Lawrence starts to show some real ability. And maybe, I miss out on grabbing his triple badge rookie at an exorbitant price, and who knows, it could be worth significantly more down the line if he becomes the superstar he could be. But so what? I miss out. Okay, I'm gonna hit on so many others, and I'm not gonna have that risk that it just never pans out for him, and I blew all that money on a moment that's gonna end up being worthless. So you got to factor that in. Defensive players is pretty simple. I've gone over defensive players in a number of my previous videos, but basically what you're targeting is sack specialists and interception specialists if you want to get a decent turnaround. I wouldn't look to guys at the end of their career for the most part, unless it's to, just cash in this particular season. But if they're toward the end of their career, it's not easy to get into the Hall of Fame as a defensive player. I mean, they do. They induct defensive players every single year, but you better be special to get in early. Otherwise, you're waiting for a long time. So you got to factor that in as well. And tight ends, it's all about the scheme when it comes to tight ends. Some tight ends will end up on teams where 75% of the time all they get to do is block for their quarterback. It's not very exciting. But then you have other tight ends where they are the key position on their offense, like the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce is the most important offensive weapon that Patrick Mahomes has. That's why they were willing to say bye-bye to Tyreek Hill. Because Kelce's more important. Significantly. That goes the same for the San Francisco 49ers. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Deebo Samuel gets moved, because as long as you have George Kittle there, you're okay. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Vegas this year, because Darren Waller is a stud. He is amazing. But now that they brought in Devontae Adams, how much is that going to take away from what they used to give to Waller? Because they used to have to force the ball to Waller because they had no other weapons. But now they got Devontae Adams, maybe the best wide receiver in the league. So when it comes to tight ends, look at their situation. Look at how that offense runs. How integral are they to success? And if they're a key piece, go ahead, add them to your collection, right? Because when tight ends are involved in any kind of challenge, if you have those key, 5 or 6 tight ends in the league that are all about what the offense is built around, you're going to succeed in those challenges. 100% you're going to succeed. But don't start buying random rookies at random positions, hoping that everyone's going to pan out, because that's just not the case, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. If you look over the last few drafts and you pick out which quarterback succeeded and which didn't, and when I say success, I'm talking relevant statistical success, not just they've done well and they've been on a good team and, and the team succeeded, but they themselves have been statistically relevant. Because Baker Mayfield's done well, but he's not statistically relevant. Jimmy Garoppolo's done well, but he's not statistically relevant. Right? These are good quarterbacks. But are they going to factor in the challenges, really? Probably not. You know, when you look at the last few drafts and who succeeded and who hasn't, there's a lot more in the hasn't category. Some of which, I mean, may not even be in the league anymore when it comes right down to it. So consider this when you're making your decisions as to which moments you should invest in, unless you're just going to go and basically collect everybody. But be careful who you listen to, because some of these guys, I don't know, man, they know shit about football. It just seems that way to me. Till next time.